All right, well, in our last type right here, we have done the set of ordered pairs and the table from example 1. We have done the graph from examples 4 through 6. And then we just went over equations using our 2 commandments of mathematical domain. The last little type here is our verbal description. And for the verbal description, we need this kind of vocabulary. When I have y as a function of x, that is y equals f of x. So we're going to follow that same pattern on this one here. Example 8 says the blood bank has a classification system that sorts donors by their blood type. Use this relation to answer parts A and B below. So in the given relation, is blood type a function of donor? And part B is the relation, in the relation given, is donor a function of blood type? Okay, so before we get into A and B, here's an example over here of what we're talking about. If we have donors, and these are all kinds of things I'm into, we have Harry Potter, Taylor Swift, Michael Scott, Patty Gasso, Bluey Healer. For anybody that has kids, you know all about Bluey Healer, and then Khloe Kardashian. So we have these 1, 2, 3, 6 donors right here, and here are their blood type. Now, for the record, I made these up. So real people, I don't know what Taylor Swift's blood type is, or Khloe Kardashian, or Patty Gasso, but I just made up some things, okay? So here are some blood types here of our different donors. So we have O positive, O negative, AB positive, A positive, O positive, B negative. Now, as these donors are, you're going to have a list of people here. Those blood types, there's only so many. I think there's 8 different types, are eventually going to start repeating, right? And you can see I already have a repeating 2 O positives here, which I think is the most common type. Okay, so you can see that our donors aren't going to change, but our blood types will. Now you could say, yes, there might be 2 different John Smiths, since that's a very common name, but the actual donor would be 2 different people, right? So the names could possibly repeat, but we are still talking about 2 different John Smiths. So is blood type a function of donor? So I'm going to use abbreviations here. It wants to know, is blood type a function of donor? So blood equals F of D. Are my blood types here a function of my donors? So this is talking about my donors being my X value. And what we know about functions is that my X cannot repeat. So if my X is being represented by my donors here, is this a function? Well, yes, my donors aren't going to repeat. So my answer is yes. And that's really all you need to answer. But if you want some information for when you look back at your notes, because donors don't repeat. Okay, so if you need to kind of make an example off to the side so it can kind of help you visualize what we are talking about in those problems. Now, this is going to ask the opposite way. And the given relation is donor a function of blood type. So now, does D equal F of B? Is donor a function of blood type? So now my blood type is my X value. Will my X, if my X is blood type, will this repeat? Well, you can see here we already have a repeat of O positives, but yeah, there's only so many different blood types. So we're going to start repeating here. So this is no. That's all you really need in your notes, but if you want to write in, no, because multiple donors will have the same blood type. Multiple donors will have the same blood type, even though rare blood types, you're eventually going to get people in there that have those rare ones. Okay, example 9, very similar. High school classifies their students by grade, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Use the relationship to answer part A and B below. So again, I have my same students here and I gave them random grades. So is the relation, or in a relation, is student a function of grade? So that would be S equals F of G. Okay, so here, my grade is being represented by my X. So would this be a function? Okay, hopefully you can see over here in my grade, no, I have repeating. I actually have 2 freshmen and I have 2 seniors as well. So my grades are already starting to repeat, but yeah, I've got 4 options for grades. So yeah, that grade's going to repeat. So this is not a function. Why? Because multiple students will be in the same grade. Multiple students will be in the same grade. So now, opposite. In the given relation, is grade a function of student? Is grade a function of student? So now my students are being represented by my X. So again, like with blood, yes, you can have 2 students in a school that have the exact same name, but we are talking about 2 different students, right? And then somebody even in my last class talked about twins, but even if they're twins, they're still 2 different people, right? So is my student ever going to repeat? No. So that makes this a function. Yes, because students, oops, I don't know what I'm doing here. Students won't repeat. Even if they repeat grades, my student is not repeating.